That's
Which
not
one am
a
I?
problem.
Which one am I looking at?
Have you used this microphone here?
Okay.
And I said that was one, so we're going to turn that one off. One, two, 1, 2. And Wendy, just talking to yours for a sec.
1, 2, 1, 2. Louder.
Louder. Louder.
1, 2, 1, 2. Yay. And do we put the headset on?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, why do we do that?
You'll be able to hear each other.
Oh. Oh.
You'll be able to kind of tell your levels are working pretty good, and you've got.
I can hear you.
So Wendy, you can hear me.
Yep, I can hear you.
So yeah, so it's pretty much ready to go.
Okay.
Well, why don't we start?
Okay.
And then we can. I have mine going now.
Okay.
So so that's okay. Wow, I can hear myself.
No, it's nice.
Oh wow, this is awesome. Okay.
So
Well,
It sure beats what we were doing.
because we could edit out the beginning. So start.
Yes.
You can start recording. Just
Let's
checking
record.
your levels.
all right. Thank you, Jim.
It's nice and close.
Thank you so much. Hey everyone, it's Rita from Miss Rita to the Rescue and Cricut Chat with Miss Rita. I'm here today for
Hold
a
on
very
1 second.
And I'm going to have him leave the room so I can shut the door. So it'll be nice and quiet.
Okay. Awesome.
We're going to be right around here.
Thank you.
Maybe bring this. Try this microphone here. I think this one will be a little bit closer for
Okay.
you.
That's great. Hello, hello. Hello. Oh, and I can see Wendy right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, so this one's probably a better one
Okay.
to use than this one.
Perfect. You want me to say hello?
Yep.
Hello, hello.
I'm just going to do this. All right, go ahead and try that.
All right. Hello, hello. Hi, everyone. No barking dogs in the background.
I know.
It's 3 at home.
I have one at home. I could have brought her and she could have barked for you.
Yeah.
So if you guys are watching on the live, that's our friend Camille from Peabody Access TV or Peabody TV. Which is it? Just
Peabody TV.
Peabody TV. And we also have Jim Palmer here, who is the technical guy, and he does all the equipment, and he's a Peabody native. He's been here for 12 years. 12 years. Camille, are you from Peabody
I
originally?
am.
So 2 natives and 2 from a ways.
Yeah.
But we love
I still
Peabody
feel
with
like
all our
27 years. I know.
Same here.
I know.
I got to beat by a few years,
Yeah.
and I still feel like I'm not a native because I'm not from Somerville. So,
Yeah.
but anyway, we're gonna do, if you're watching on the live, and I can't really see how many people are on, just a few, but if you're watching on the live today, we're going to be doing our first ever podcast, and I'm so excited. And I have here today Wendy, my partner in crime. And she is going to be making a beautiful sign. She's going to tell you a little bit about it. But I just wanted to also let you know, first of all, let me just thank the folks at Peabody Access TV for giving us this very professional outfit. You guys are used to seeing us on an iPhone. So now we have this really exciting professional.
Winging it and trying to pull it all together.
And winging it. We're new at this. Jim's got the background, but not us. And so we're just all like kind of getting it together, and I am videoing it. You're going to see Wendy, but it's also being recorded here in Peabody Access TV, and we're so thankful for that. And this is a brainchild that Wendy and I had. We had this idea maybe 8 months ago, 6-8 months ago, and we said we need to do a podcast, and so we've been talking about it forever. So let me hand it over to Wendy, and we can go ahead.
Okay, fantastic. So what we'll be doing today is making this cute little sign. It says home is where you drop your anchor. So we love in the summertime how you know, like everything has like anchors and has a summer vibe to it. So we're just like really embracing that right now and just making a cute nautical sign for the summer.
Plus, we are from the North Shore
Yeah.
of Boston, which is it's kind of a special place. We have,
Totally.
even though the city that we're broadcasting from has no beach, we
But
are
we're
the
so close
only
to it.
community that doesn't have a beach in the whole area. But we have the best beaches in
Absolutely.
in all of Massachusetts. So Cape Cod,
Yeah.
you're on notice because Cape Ann and the North Shore, we're here.
We love it. I'm going to start you guys off with my background. I'm going to do a really pretty essential gray. This is a really nice neutral. I'm keeping with like a neutral vibe today, but I'm just going to shake this up, put a little here. I don't have all my fun things at the studio, so I'm just...
Can you work while you're doing this, Wendy?
Yeah, totally.
Okay. Can I
Jump
talk
in.
to you?
Yeah.
So Wendy, tell me a little bit about how you got started in this business.
Oh, absolutely. So Create and Escape got started in 2017. My family and a friend of ours, there was 4 of us when we started. We wanted to do a business that we would get some funds to go to my nephew's wedding. Just as a side note, I got my paint on. I'm going with the grain of the wood back and forth.
Great.
Okay, so we were trying to raise some funds so we could head to Punta Cana for my nephew's wedding. And we were trying to find a way to do that. I always wanted to have my own business. I went to school for entrepreneurship, and I worked for years for companies making them millions of dollars. And I
Right.
always wanted to do my own thing to make
Right.
myself something.
Why
And
aren't you a millionaire?
Exactly. I'm still working on it. So I was always searching for a way to do that. And my sister, Debbie, who's my business partner, was always encouraging me, like, you should do this. Like, I see this lady doing these crafts and you could do this. And I'm like, no, I can't. No, I don't know how. And she went to a Sea Glass event and like, she walked away from that event being like, we could do this and we
Right.
could do it so much better.
Right.
So that's exactly what we did. At first, I was pushing her off, being like, no, I don't think so. And then within a couple of days, I'm like, I think we can. So we did. And we started it with 4 of us. I have 2 sisters, and we had a friend, Lisa. And we started doing this so the 4 of us could have enough cash to head on this great vacation for my nephew's
like a
wedding.
destination wedding.
Yeah, it was. So we just noticed we focused on having the best quality products, the best experience. My sisters and I would always do craft nights, like a paint night.
Just with yourself?
With our friends and family,
Oh,
we
how
would get
cool.
together. Like I find as women, we're busy working, we have kids,
Right.
and we just need a little time to relax and have fun
Right.
and unwind. And you just recharge, and then you head home. You're a better mom. You're a better employee.
Right.
You're just a better you because you
Right.
had time to recharge.
Right.
So
But you had a goal when you first
We
jumped
did.
in, because you've always been creative.
always, like my mom's creative. I've always enjoyed being crafty and having fun, and I
Mhm.
watched her really excel at it. So I've always grown up with it, and I've always really enjoyed it.
But this time you had a goal.
Yeah, we had a total goal, and it was pretty money motivated. Like we needed to have some cash so we could head on this vacation. So we started it, and our first event we had about 50 people. And we
Wow.
had so much fun. I think we walked away from it, and it was just, not only did we have people coming up to us saying what a great experience it was. They thought we were like a franchise, and we really
Right.
grew this ourselves. And we just, like I said, we focused on great products, a great experience, and really hands-on learning. That's
Now you
stress-free.
told me that this was it was like a craft, bring it to you. It was like a mobile craft
we were
business when you first
completely
started it.
mobile. And then we had our first event, and then we nailed a couple other locations, and it just really grew. And we all worked well together. We had fun together. So our goal was like, let's get through the end of the year and see how we make out. At the end of the year, we
And what
walked away.
happened?
Well, we definitely had enough cash to take our trip, and we had a lot of fun. We kind of outgrew it. We moved on from sea glass to wood signs at that point, and the business was growing. And then we reassessed, and I outgrew it because it was taking over my home. and it was just so much stuff.
Oh,
You know the
don't
way
I
it
know
goes.
that? I have my studio in my home, and everybody that watches me on a regular basis will know that I'm always looking for something that I bought to work with a project.
Sure.
You know, just that organization type of
Yeah,
thing.
it's really difficult to have a business from your home. So at that point, we decided, my sister Debbie and I decided to continue because I really loved it and I could see the future of it. It's a lot of work. So my other two partners, my other sister and our friend Lisa, decided no, it's not for me.
Right.
One, my other sister had a grandchild. She was like, no, I really want my weekends and my nights to spend with my grandchild.
Right.
And our other friend was like, no, I really want to start like heading out with my friends on the weekends and,
Sure.
weekends away. So me and Debbie were like, okay, we had their full support and they were like, if you need us, we'll work,
Oh,
but
gotcha.
like you guys do it, we're going to step away.
Right.
We fulfilled the goal and I wanted to continue on. And Debbie, my older sister, she is someone who would like walk through fire for me. So she was like, you want to do it? Let's do it. So we got a lease at local grant from downtown Peabody, and it equated to pretty much like our rent for a year.
Oh.
And we used it for our build out. So we felt like we had a low risk opportunity.
Okay, so let's take a step back from that.
Yeah.
And talk a little bit about it. So at that point, you're working from your home.
Yeah.
And you and your sister, the two others decided they were going to bow out.
Yeah.
And you were working from your home. You need to find a space.
Yeah, we definitely needed a space. We were looking all on the North Shore for spaces. And I, back from my days when I did PTA and PTO with the kids, I was like, I would love to write grants and research things.
Wow.
So I found an opportunity that Peabody had this Lease It Local grant to help bring businesses to Peabody that could help grow downtown.
Lovely.
So we were considered like a destination business that would help drive traffic. People would come to us, craft with us, have an experience.
Maybe visit a restaurant.
We'd send them out to bars and restaurants.
Awesome.
Or we'd send them over to Mills to go shopping, Mills 58.
Mills 58. Yep.
So we would find a way to like embrace our Peabody community and spread the word,
Right.
which is what we do. And so it worked out great. So
what year was that?
That was 2018.
2018.
Well, I started the work in 2017 in the
Right.
fall. I started putting feelers out, trying to see. And in January, and we started looking for space in like November, December, January.
Okay.
We got our lease signed in 2018 in the February. Our grand opening was March 15th.
Wow.
So we did it quick.
That's quick, right? But with the help of the Peabody government, the city of Peabody.
It was great. It was a program that I think they worked with Mass Development on.
Wow.
And it was just something that allowed us a little bit of encouragement to take the plunge to do something.
Right. Can I just say that thanks to the city of Peabody, we were talking outside just before this started, and we're joking about not being natives and everything, but we've been here quite a long time, and we've seen the city really
it's
take
grown
off
and changed.
grown. Yeah,
We have
under
so many great businesses.
Yeah, we've always had great mayors. Now we have Mayor Ted Betancourt, and there's a lovely group called Peabody Main Streets,
Yeah.
which is just dedicated to
Volunteer
bringing-
run. So it's
Yeah.
great. And we
Yeah.
have, if you think of the brewery and you think of Stancy's and Next Max, we have great
Yeah.
restaurants and things around.
I mean, we're not quite at the level of Salem, but we're getting there. And
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely.
we were talking about this. We were talking about making Peabody a destination, use that word destination.
Absolutely.
And one of the things we noticed being from Peabody is that a lot of people will just drive right through Peabody Square and not stop. And they're on their way to Salem or Marblehead. And we wanted to at least take a fraction of that.
I'm seeing it more and more because last fall through, haunted happenings in Salem, when I was at the coffee shop, I would find so many people who were staying in Peabody to go to Salem And then they were stopping at the coffee shop and
Right.
seeing Main Street on their way over.
Wow.
So I was seeing
That's
it
great.
more and more last year.
That's great.
And I
That's
think
great.
we'll see more this year.
Yeah, and then we also have the mansion that's going to be turning
That's gonna
into
be incredible.
So excited.
And if you think of Olio too, like that's gonna,
yeah, Olio.
it's a great venue,
event
place,
space.
downtown Peabody.
Right.
Sarah, who owns Olio with her mom, Ellen, they have a great space and it's like a modern industrial.
Yeah.
You're up and you head up there and you feel like you're downtown Boston,
Right.
but yet you're in Peabody.
Yeah,
And
that's great.
And seeing Peabody from the viewpoint of Olio is incredible because it doesn't even feel like you're in Peabody. And
No,
you
it
look,
doesn't.
You look outside and it just takes you away somewhere else.
Yeah, it's awesome. I
I
love
love it.
that space. I love
I do
that
too.
space. So let's get back to you. So first of all, what are we doing here?
Okay, so now I got my base coat. It's a pretty essential gray. I have some off-white and I'm doing, it's actually called summer white, and I'm dry brushing. I love to dry brush and make it kind of rustic. So that's what I have here.
So this is just a piece of lumber that you had
Yeah, I
hanging
just-
around.
I literally just found this like right before I walked over here, and it's just lumber I had laying around, just that you can get from Home Depot, or even you might have it from a project you did at home. So I'm just gonna
Okay.
let that dry.
So
I'll get my
can we
stencil.
talk about the price of lumber just for a quick
Oh my
second?
God,
It's
crazy.
really gone up. So if you are going to do this at home and you have someone, maybe your husband or whatever, that does like DIY, you can go
Hey, not
searching.
even your husband.
Oh, right,
Us
right.
ladies can do it.
That's right. And go looking for scraps, and scraps
Yeah.
can make the best signs.
Absolutely, absolutely. And at Home Depot, they'll cut things down for you. So if you
Really?
want something smaller, they can accommodate that too.
Cool.
And that gets done free of charge. If you did so many pieces, they start to charge you. But
Okay.
we're gonna let this dry.
Okay.
And once it dries, we'll get our stencil on and wrap it.
All right. So let me ask you about that first year. Because
Yeah.
that would be 2018.
Yep.
And you started off, and was it busy right away, or?
It was hit or miss. We weren't sure what to expect that first year because we were mobile, and we were still doing a little bit of mobile, but not too much, because the goal was to have the studio, to have the space to be able to spread us and have a gathering place. Some people don't want to have a party at their house because they don't want all the mess.
Right.
So they would come to us and they could bring some refreshments if it was a birthday party.
Right.
You know, we just had a kids party yesterday. You get your pizza, your cake, your cupcakes,
and just bring it to the studio.
yeah,
And
you
then you
leave
don't
the
have to worry
mess.
about mess
I
or
know.
people touching your precious things,
Yep.
or right,
So-
or having to clean your house
I
before.
know. But we just kind of like, we're winging it. We don't do a lot of advertising. So it was word of mouth. So we continue.
But you also partner with a lot of people
We
in
do.
downtown.
Yep, we love to partner with our neighbors, and there was really nothing that we said no to that first year. If there was a craft fair or if there was a fundraising like opportunity with a school or a football team, we just said yes.
Right,
So we
right.
just got out there and just tried to spread the word of what we were all about.
Right. Did you say yes sometimes and felt like never again am I going to do that? Or
Not really that first year. We were just really happy to be part of the community and help people out and just spread the love of crafting. We
right,
found once we got people in the door, they wanted to come back.
right.
So
Right.
we just were very happy to, be part of the community and just spread the love of what we do. And I think at the end of the day, the difference between us and anyone else that does this is we really love what we do. And I think you can see our passion
Mhm.
to make sure you walk away with something you love.
Right. And you've been mistaken for a franchise.
Yeah, which to me, that's like the best compliment ever. Like, I feel like I'm winging it half the time, but it makes me feel like I really have my crap together and
Right.
we're doing great. So we love compliments like that. That's
So
fantastic.
there are franchises out there, I guess.
Yeah, there's franchises and companies that are like a
And
licensing
then there's
agreement.
the big box people that
Totally. Like,
you could
you
go
have
in
Michael's
and-
that does
Yeah.
crafting, and Home Depot does like some free things for kids, which is
Right.
great. So we're not trying to compete with anyone necessarily like that. We're just making our stand of being ourselves.
right. And it seems to be working really well.
Yeah, absolutely. It's working great. But I encourage like anyone out there who has an idea and is crafting at home, like, you can really take your business to the next level. Jump on Etsy, work with your community and see what you can do.
Okay, well, let's talk about that a little bit. So what do you do for folks that they are super crafty, but they don't know, they want to make it into a business, but they don't know really how. And they are struggling with maybe with self-doubt or having issues on where is the step that I need to take to get started.
I think the key component, and it's interesting you say this because I had a woman pop in yesterday and she was talking to me about starting her business, and it was like probably about an hour away from here, and she was asking me a lot of questions. And I think you need to start with a business plan. So even if you think you're a little tiny business, you still need to jump online, find a format for a business plan. It will be like an outline to help you do that business plan and get you started. Because I think that makes you think about your marketing, your competition,
Right.
What your goal is, who you're looking to attract. A lot of people sometimes start a business and they're like, I'm just opening up the door and I'm going to have a business. And you're
But
setting
business plan doesn't have to be like a really formal plan, does it?
somewhat, if you want financing, it does. But even walking through a business plan will help you figure out if your business is valid. I've had some people who I've talked to, because I love to write business plans. I'm kind of nerdy
That's
that way.
kind of nerdy, yeah.
And I've done many business plans before I did this one, and it talked me out of my business. Because
Wow.
once I went through all the numbers, I'm like, yeah, this won't be profitable.
Wow.
So it's just going to make you think about everything,
Right.
which is the purpose of a business plan.
Sounds to me like you have a lot of business background, but you also had the love and support of a great sister.
Oh my God. Yeah. My whole family.
Yeah.
My sister-in-law works for us, and my daughter Abby works for us. Occasionally my son Sam will help out, but we had a great family support system. My mom and dad, like early on, would I remember we did cornhole boards, and my mom would be sanding them, and
Wow.
my dad would be helping in the wood shop. So we were kind of all family, all hands on deck.
Right.
So,
right.
and it's worked out great.
So let's not forget Pasquale.
Yeah, we have Pasquale that works for us, and he does a great job. And we have local teenagers that work for us.
Right.
We have a big support system, and that's what we love most too, is supporting the community, that we're able to contribute by hiring people and supporting local businesses.
Right, like for instance, going over to Granite Coast and
Yeah.
And having a craft night there.
Yeah.
Or I know you have like a schedule with Next Mex.
Yes, we're at Next every week with a rotating
Every
prep.
week.
Yeah, and at the brewery, we're once or twice a month. We also head down to Gloucester, to the Gloucester House, and we've been.
You realize Gloucester is north, so she's saying that's a local thing. So
I
she's
know, I
heading
always go down. I know.
But so what did you do to partner? Did you just like approach people?
Well, a lot of people came to us and approached us, but like early on, I never thought twice about asking. I was never afraid to pick up the phone. When we first started mobile, there was a place called Tap and Vine. Over where Laguno's used to be in Peabody.
Yeah.
It's been like a million restaurants.
Yes, right.
It's Endicott Grill right now, but it was a place called Tap and Vine before. And I reached out to them and I was like, hey, we're doing this mobile business. And I would put together a flyer, send it to them. And we were doing events there. I just, it's hard to make that first phone call and be like, hey, I'm doing this. And you're so afraid you'll have a no.
Right.
And you might get tons of no's, but you just can't let the no's get you down.
Yeah, let's talk about rejection, because I struggle with that myself. And my regular listeners, followers would know that, because when you're on YouTube, you have this opportunity to reach so many people, but also to reach so many people. And sometimes you get people that hiding behind their screen say some of the nastiest things to you.
I think that happens to everybody online, from adults to kids. God bless teens. I don't know how they do it. And I just think as a society that we just need to be kinder. We need to be nicer. I find you always need to, or my approach is I always lead with kindness.
Yeah, kill them with kindness.
And I just wish more people were that way.
Right.
So,
but have you had a situation where you were just doing your thing and you flubbed up? I mean, you just made a mistake and somebody really took issue with it.
It's happened here and there. I always try to own up when I make a mistake. And I find if you're honest with people and you're like, I totally messed up a time, or people understand we're all in this together, I feel
Right.
like. And, you know, we all have our struggles. And, you know, occasionally I've had someone, I can only think of one time in particular, I had something with a bride and she lashed back at me on something. And I just think I'm like, she's having a bad day.
Yeah.
And
It's tough to be a bride.
and like, and the end of her bad day. Like,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it wasn't me. And later I remember she came back, she's like, I'm so sorry. I
Right.
jumped at you. I didn't mean to, but I just got a phone call that like this canceled and this delayed. And,
Right.
so again, I just, you know, try not to let things like that bother me.
So you're meeting people where they are at the present time. So
Yeah.
can we talk a little bit about mental health? Because last week was, as some of my followers would know, last week was Cheer Up the Lonely Day. That was on Monday.
Post about that.
And I was just suggesting that during the COVID pandemic, a lot of us ended up staying home. Now, you did not. You stayed.
We
working.
continued. The store did well. When the pandemic first happened, we thought to ourselves, okay, I guess we're closing. We gave this our best shot. Like, we just didn't know what you don't know. And when we see, you know, the president and, you know, all these officials telling us we need to all stay home, and we instantly were like, okay,
Did you think, okay, that's the end of our business?
We absolutely did. And the same day that we thought it was the end of our business, we had Salem State calling, being like, hey, do you guys do kits to go? Then we had businesses calling, being like, hey, can you do anything virtual? And it just happened.
So that next opportunity presented itself.
It presented itself on its own because we didn't even know it was there. And for years, we were trying to do kits to go, and we had all the materials, and it wasn't catching on. We were like, people don't want to do this. And we were like, because we kept thinking people might want to craft at home and not come in. So we had all the materials, which was incredible. So we were like, oh, let's go get that box out of the back, and we have all the materials. Wow. So we started instantly doing things to go, and we did it for colleges. We did it for wounded warriors. We did it for corporations, and we just jumped online and we started doing everything we could. People were still trying to fundraise. They had goals that they had to achieve despite the pandemic. And I found people needed some mental health break. And they were home, they were with their families. They just needed a little time to themselves. And them jumping into a craft just kind of took them away somewhere. Right. Which, if you think about our studio, we call it Create an Escape. And to how we came up with the name, it was actually our friend Lisa. We were talking through the process, and we like, when we create it, we escape from our everyday
life. Yeah.
So that's how we came up with our name.
Of, you know, kids, being a mom or a dad, or,
and the pandemic made it so much more important to have that balance of your mental health to take a break. Because when you take that break, you, like I said before, you come back, you're recharged,
refreshed.
And you just get that balance, because you can't be all work all the time.
No, you can't.
So, we jumped instantly into doing virtual and our kits to go. I did something called DoorDash Crafts.
What's that?
And what I was doing, and think of all the companies in the pandemic with, DoorDash dropping off food at your door, that we were dropping crafts off at your door. And it was hysterical because they were pretty much in a pizza box, and it was a craft. So we would always take a spin on that. So we were driving around, dropping off crafts and leaving little treats for everyone.
Awesome.
And people loved it. So we just learned as we went along, and people really loved the experience.
Right.
And when it comes to mental health, I love when people come into the studio, they put their phones away, they unplug. They dive into their project, especially when it's sea glass, and they just kind of lose themselves.
Right. And thinking about the beach and the ocean and the waves and all the beautiful, even the gulls cawing in the background.
They just, we get a lot of professionals the people that take the longest with their sea glass, I always joke that they're like doctors, nurses,
Really?
you know,
They're very
lawyers, surgeons, like people who just really need that escape.
Right.
You know, teachers as well, but like all of us, even as moms,
Right.
or so if you're a caretaker, you need that break. And we've done some workshops for people who are, you know, their caretakers, like taking care of someone who might have cancer, and they need a break for themselves.
Right.
In creating, and we keep it easy. We give you a fun project, and you walk away.
Well, what do you do about those people that say, I'm not creative, I've never been creative, blah, blah, blah? What do you do about that?
We make it so easy. We're kind of really hands-on, so we provide the experience for you, but we make it stress-free. So I always approach it in, what would you do if you would never fail creating something? And we take that approach.
Wow, that's
So-
a great approach.
And people walk away, and I love that it builds their self-confidence. That like, oh my God, I made this. I need to take a picture of it. No one will believe I made this.
Right?
So they love it.
That reminds me, when we first met, like officially,
Yeah.
we were invited to do, it was a fundraiser for Culture House. Remember that?
Oh, yes.
And Pasquale was the one teaching the class that night. And
Yes.
I have to say, I have never painted before, or I might have in college, but I never considered myself a painter. And we were painting a picture of
was
the
Crystal Lake.
fountain, Crystal Lake.
Yeah.
Crystal Lake. And I was like, I have no idea what to do. And when I walked away from that, and Pasquale kept saying, just go with it. Like, let go and just do there's no wrong.
No, there's no wrong. Just do it. And it, like, you have to trust the process. And it like all comes together for you at the end, I find. And that's exactly what happens. You trust the process. It's even like if you think of life and you think about mental health and stress in your life, sometimes you have to trust the outcome of something positive will happen.
Right.
And it's the same when you're crafting. Like
Gotcha.
you just trust the process.
Right. And even if you make a perceived mistake, you're trying to you're going to work through that, right?
You're gonna embrace it.
Embrace it and make it look.
None of us
And
are
I'm
perfect.
going to tell you, that painting is hanging in my living room.
It's
My
not-
son saw it and he was like, we're going to hang that in the living room. I'm like, okay. It's just like a 5x7. but-
Yeah, I love when people say like they're not crafty and they doubt themselves and they just have a great time and they walk away and they're really proud of themselves. If you think of when you were a little kid and you were crafting or doing art class, you just
Coloring.
nothing
even
holds
painting.
you back.
Right.
So it's kind of like embracing that again.
Reminds me of that Adam Sandler, I think it was called Billy Madison, Adam Sandler movie.
Yeah,
And he has to go back to school
yeah,
and he's in kindergarten and he says, I drew the duck purple because I wanted to see what a duck looked like.
yeah.
Purple. And I thought, that's so perfect.
It totally is, and it's, you know, it's your perception of things.
Right,
So there's no, you know, color outside the lines. Have fun with it.
right.
Because there's no right or wrong way. Because even look at this sign here. And we do this all the time. We're so hard on ourselves. So I did this. I bled a little bit here. There's a few spots. It's not perfect.
But it says home is where
Yeah.
what?
It
You
says
drop
home
your
is where
anchor?
you drop your anchor. So
Awesome.
whenever something looks a little rustic and rough, I dry brush over it. So I just dipped in my off-white and I'm going to go over it a little bit.
Awesome.
And it gives like a really rustic vibe, like it was supposed to be that way.
Wow.
And all those imperfections kind of make it perfect
Right?
at the end of the day.
It is perfect. It's
So-
lovely. I would hang that in my
I
house.
know. I love it. It's a new design that we have. So.
All right, so we're coming to the end of our time together, and I wanted to ask you. Sorry, I moved away from
Oh,
the
sure.
mic. They'll edit that out. Let's talk about this podcast. What do we want to achieve with this podcast?
Great question. I think it would be great to achieve doing some things to show people some craftiness
Right.
and also showing them how they can kind of create like an escape in their own lives
Right.
and take a break and, you know, for their mental health and to help them, you know, get creative and have some fun and learn some new things. But also, I think everyone has a story to tell. And I think as we bring some people in along the way, that we all have a little crafty side and how we escape in our lives with that.
This is true.
If you think of a lot of people who may, I talked to a woman recently. She has a company called Beach Goods, and she had a baby. And through her maternity leave, she decided to start a crafting project, and then it developed into a business.
Right.
So, you know, we
Kind
all
of how I got into it. Yeah.
So there's always a little niche for people, but I think everyone has a story to tell.
Right.
And I think it's great to hear those stories and
Right.
just seeing it from a creative standpoint.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. So, what do you think might be some good topics to talk about? And if you're watching on the live, make sure you comment and let me know what you think would be good topics for our podcast. But yeah, so what do you think we should talk about?
Well, I think just hitting on some key things about, you know, mental health and taking those breaks and self-care.
Right.
And also just learning some other creative things. Like there's so many, like we did a wood sign. There's alcohol inks that you can do with glasses. If you do paint pours, I could just relax and watch people do paint pours.
That
for days.
ASMR stuff. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
So there's just so many ways to unleash your creative spirit and bring out your inner artist.
Right.
That to explore those. And then also I think we should bring some guests in along the way and hear about how they create like an escape themselves.
Right. The North Shore is teeming with artists and creative people. Love to have them. So if you are listening and you are in the North Shore, on the North Shore, or maybe even beyond that, reach out to me. With my email is a Gmail account, Miss Rita to the rescue @gmail.com. And what's yours?
Createandescape@outlook.com.
Okay, so there are emails. Now, if you are listening to this and you've never been in to see Create and Escape, Wendy's wonderful downtown Peabody store, tell us a little bit about that hours if you just want to go and make the sign.
Yeah, so we're at 71 Main Street. We're next to Breaking Grounds Cafe. And you can book us. You jump on my website, Create and Escape DIY, and you can see our schedule. We do like open event, like anything listed as open.
A drop-in, like?
Well, like open event is open to the public.
Okay.
Like anything listed as private is a private event. And then we have mobile events where we're at bars and restaurants.
Okay.
So you can check out our schedule and see everything. You can also, we make it really easy. On Saturdays, we have open times. You can just walk in. On Wednesdays, Thursday, Fridays from 2:30 to 5, you can drop in. So message me. We do appointments. So we really make it easy where, you know, we're around 7 days a week and we're there all day. I live around the corner.
I know you are there. You know, speaking of escaping.
I know.
Right? You need to maybe carve out a little niche where you're not working.
I know.
You don't want to get, I know it's fun work, but you probably don't want to get burned out either.
We find a way that we balance it and we take our breaks too. And Sunday's usually our day that we kind of recharge.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good. And for me, just so that you know, my name's Rita Cavicchio. I am from Peabody. I work with a global company called Cricut, and we do Cricut crafts Monday through Friday. Generally, we're on a summer schedule right now, and you can find me on YouTube under Miss Rita to the Rescue or Cricut Chat with Miss Rita. I'd love to get you to subscribe to my channel. I'm also on Facebook, and love for you to follow along. We do all kinds of Cricut related crafts, but I'm looking forward to these Sundays when we are doing other non-Cricut. I mean, although you did use the Cricut for that.
I did.
Yeah.
You know, we have a Cricut and we also have like tons of other equipment as well.
Right.
We have industrial equipment,
Right.
but we have a little.
But you cut out your almost like a stencil on vinyl, right? And then you painted with because we didn't really talk about that while you were doing it. So you paint with like a little makeup sponge.
Well, I painted it with our foam brush here.
Right.
Then I laid my vinyl on, and then we used the makeup sponge to sponge it.
To do the colors.
Yeah.
Wow. That's awesome. That's great, Wendy. Thank you so much. much
my
for
pleasure.
doing this
Thank
with
you.
I'm so excited about this program. Yeah, it's not Cricut crafting. Maybe one day we'll do a Cricut craft.
But it's all crafts.
It's all crafts and
Yeah.
it's all escaping.
Yes.
And I appreciate you for tuning in, listening. Please remember to support our local businesses, our women-run businesses. That's Create and Escape in downtown Peabody. It's a DIY workshop and studios.
Yes.
And then, you know, you can support me by just subscribing to my YouTube channel. That's Miss Rita to the Rescue, or Cricut Chat with Miss Rita. You have something else to
I was
say?
supposed to say thank you. Thanks for tuning in. This has been so much fun.
And I hope that you, when this finally gets up on the podcast schedules, that you subscribe to our podcast. That would be great.
Awesome. Thanks,
All right.
guys.
Thanks. Have a great day, everyone. Enjoy.